RealClearPolitics. Open to a wide political spectrum.
This is POTUS on Sirius XM Channel 124.
Welcome back to Real Clear Politics on Sirius XM. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of RCP. Joined now on the phone by Sean Trende. He's our senior elections analyst. Sean, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
We are officially 6 weeks out from the 2024 presidential election. And we just got, we got these polls over the weekend, Sean, NBC, CBS, Morning Consult. We got a new Rasmussen poll and a CNN poll that just came out earlier today. Harris up 1 in that poll. Overall, Harris is up 2.3% in our RealClearPolitics national average. I think we've got like 16 polls in there or something. Trump's only leading in 2 of them. One of them is tied. Harris leads in all the rest. What do you make of this? Is this, I guess it's good news for Harris. If you're Harris, I asked you this last week. Would you rather be Harris or Trump at this point in the campaign? I think last week you said Donald Trump, but has your opinion of that changed based on any of the polling that you've seen or that we've gotten over the last week?
I mean, not really. It's pretty remarkable that our polling over the last week, we got just a ton of it, and all shows kind of the same picture. So like 7 days ago, Harris was up 2 in our national average, and now she's up 2.3 in our national average. That's better for her. But remember, Hillary Clinton won by 2 points and lost the election. Joe Biden won by 4.5 points and barely won the election. So, that's without even getting into the question of whether Trump's going to overperform his polls or not this time around. So I think I'd still rather be Donald Trump. But, I mean, these polls, these races are all super tight. I mean, even when you get into the Electoral College polling, it is just a very, very, very tight race.
Well, let's talk about that because we did have some new Battleground state polls out today. And North Carolina, Harris is up a point there, according to Elon University. She's up 1 point, according to our buddy David Byler at Noble Predictive Insights out in Nevada. USA Today Suffolk had her up 3 points in Michigan. So a lot of blue on the board for Harris this morning, but not by margins that are decisive by any stretch of the imagination. And if you look at the Electoral College, she's ahead, but not by much. 276 to 262 is what our no toss-up map is right now. And overall, Trump's leading in the battlegrounds by 0.2%. That is really tight.
Yeah, and that Elon University poll just came out today, but it was conducted September 4th to September 13th. So it's kind of an old poll. Our average has Trump up a 0.5 point in North Carolina, which I don't think should make any supporters feel good. Harris is up 0.4 point in Nevada. Michigan, she has a little bit more breathing room. She's up 1.8 points. But still, none of that should make supporters of either candidate feel better. I suppose you'd rather be ahead than behind, but that is some really tight polling in these states.
In North Carolina, is this Mark Robinson thing, is that a big deal for Trump at all? Or is that just kind of a red herring that's going to somehow drag down Trump and cost him the state there?
I actually think it might help him in a weird sort of way.
That's interesting. Tell me more.
I'd like to subscribe to your newsletter. No, and you should subscribe to the takeaway. But the interesting thing about that is that, like, let's say that you're a suburban North Carolina Republican, don't like Trump, don't like the direction of the modern Republican Party, but you're not comfortable with Democrats either because they're too liberal for you. It's real easy now to be like, okay, my kind of token Democratic ballot to show my disgust with the modern Republican Party is against Mark Robinson. And now that I've done that, I've stamped my decent person card. I can vote for Trump now.
So it's a permission slip.
Yeah, and there's actually some thought that that's what happened in 2020, that the GOP had kind of an out there gubernatorial nominee again, and that enabled, that's part of why Donald Trump overperformed in North Carolina that year, because voting to reelect the Democratic governor, Cooper, kind of gave wavering Republicans a permission structure to go ahead and vote for Trump and other Republicans.
That would certainly, though, change the game, right? If North Carolina were to go Democrat, go for Harris, that's 16 electoral college votes. That would mean he would have to win Pennsylvania, and something else like
Yeah.
Michigan, Wisconsin, or Nevada. So that would be a serious blow to Trump if North Carolina gets away.
That's exactly right. I mean, the path for him to 268 is very straightforward. You win the states he won last time, you add in Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina, and then it's just a matter of picking one more off. But if he loses in North Carolina or in one of those other states, then it starts to get a little bit dicier for him. He has to pick up two or three of these other states, and those states are all very, very close. But he'd rather have to only pick off one state than two or three.
Let's talk about Wisconsin for a second, because this is a state, there seems like there's a little bit of separation in these polls. And I've talked about this a little bit before. In Arizona now, Trump's up 2 points and he's leading in every single poll there. Harris is not leading in a single poll. Same thing in Georgia, 7 or 8 polls now. He's leading in every single one. The reverse is true in Michigan, where she's leading in the last 4 polls out of 8 in our average. In Michigan, and by 3, 4, 5 points. So she's got about a 2-point lead there. So there's separation in some of these states, except North Carolina, we mentioned. Pennsylvania's the other one, and Wisconsin, where we just got a new poll from Emerson, has Trump up 1, Harris is up 1 in our average. Wisconsin was the worst, the hardest, let's say, for pollsters in the last 2 cycles. What is it about Wisconsin that has pollsters, drives them so crazy and gives them fits?
I think the problem with Wisconsin is that you have just a huge body. There's 2 things. You have these suburbs that were like 10 years ago, almost like southern suburbs, 70-80% Republican, that have swung. And so you kind of have to get the right mixture of voters in the suburbs there. And not only that, but you have a large number of rural yet kind of working class Democratic places that have swung the other way. And so it's just really hard to get the demographics of that state correct. And I mean, let's not forget, you're absolutely right. In 2020, ABC WAPO, a very good pollster, had Biden up, 17 points shortly before the election. And I think that's an important thing to just kind of tuck in the back of your cap as you look at the polls this time around.
And that state has been decided by, I don't know, 10,000 votes, 15,000 votes the last 2 cycles. And if you skip over Obama, because he obviously won it big, and go back to 2004 and 2000, it was razor thin then as well. I fully expect it's going to be just a complete nail biter in Wisconsin. And no matter what the polls say, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just, in 2018, the gubernatorial race, Scott Walker barely lost. There were some close races. It was close in 2022. It's just a very, very tight state right now. And so, yeah, I think this is going down to the wire. Now, it only has 10 electoral votes. So, if Trump loses somewhere else, it won't get him over the line like some of the bigger electoral prizes. But if he wins, he does what we talked about, wins the same states as he did in 2022, adds Georgia and Arizona, Wisconsin would get it done for him.
We got just about a minute left, Sean, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I want to get your opinion on whether, we got a poll out of Minnesota. Harris is up 5 there, pretty consistent if you look at all the most recent polls. We had a poll come out of Virginia. The University of Mary Washington had Harris only leading by 2 points. There was a Washington Post poll that came out roughly the same time, first week of September, had Harris up 8. So that's, roughly a 5-point average. I think we have 4.5 in our average with a couple of extra polls in there that are a little bit older. Before Biden dropped out, we had polls showing Trump leading in Virginia, or tied. And we keep hearing from Republicans, Glenn Youngkin and others, saying, hey, Virginia's in play this year. Do you buy that? Or do you think that's just one of those, things that happens before an election? And certainly if he were to win Virginia, you would think that he would win a lot of other states of these, tight races as well. Do you buy this idea that Virginia is somehow in play this year?
I do, actually, because it's not just the 2021 gubernatorial election, although that was a close race that the Republicans won. But when you look at the 2023 elections in Virginia, Republicans were very competitive in the statewide popular vote there. If you look at the 2022 House elections, places like Virginia 10, which were thought to be a solidly Democratic district, suddenly are very modest in the Democrats' leads there in 2022. So I think there has been a shift in some of these ex-urban areas in Virginia. I don't know if they make the state 100% in play, but I don't think Harris is winning it by 10. I think it's going to be a single-digit race there, probably.
All right. We will leave it there. Sean Trende, Senior Elections Analyst for Real Clear Politics. Thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.